Breaking down the trade today that I made. I want to break this down and talk about not just the trade of buying and selling. I want to talk about overall the battle, the emotional battle, and why I was thinking that I was going to get long when the market's red and everything's crashing. I'm going to talk about it here in this video, so make sure you guys stay tuned. What's going on, guys? Patrick here, and today we're looking at we're gonna look at futures here in a second, but really quickly, NKLA this morning. I talked about it during the live stream. Been talking about it all the time, but this morning somebody asked me if it was time to buy puts. Was it time to buy puts on NKLA? Well, I would hate to tell you that it was probably better time to buy puts last week when the stock was $34, not $22. This morning, puts. I think the $29 puts went from like 60 cents up there to $66. So they were up over 1,000% at one point. But the problem is that the stock then pushed up there to the 30 and then kind of just has been stuck here at 27 all day. So that's not good for puts, especially with the volatility and the implied volatility and things like that. So I said during the live stream that you'd be much better off buying calls if you're looking to day trade. If you're looking to day trade NKLA, the calls would have been a much better opportunity. There were some opportunities to buy, the drops and things like that with the puts. But in general, if you're going to get long, if the stock's down 30% on the day, 20% on the day, it's not always the best idea to get short once everybody else is already short. You got to think about that emotional idea. Are you just chasing it at that point? We're going to talk about futures and the trade that I made here. You can see my entries, my exits there. Got in there at the 238 area. Here's my entry. Oh my gosh. We had to push all the way up there to 253. The market moved all the way up there to the 280s by the end of the day, which is pretty amazing to see. I got a 13, we'll say a 12 handle move here, right? Is that 12 handles from, no. I got a 15 handle move. Yeah, about a 15 handle move there. And later on, this market moved another 20 handles, 30 handles. So there was a lot of opportunity to buy that dip and rip there today. Now, if you look, let's look at it. Let's look at this setup. Like I said earlier, the market was red. We had a lot of selling going into the open today. The market pushed down there to the 322 area. We can look on a bigger time frame, on the 15-minute time frame here. The market pulls all the way down here to the 322 area multiple times. 322 support there multiple times getting touched. Now, what I want to point out here really quickly is that now what I do want to point out, talking about again about that emotional aspect, is look at this. That little setup right there, right? Almost like that V setup. We had that higher low. So we had the two lows down here at that support area, and this kind of was looking like that higher low, right? Really looking like a higher low at that point. This area here. Okay, you're thinking that this isn't going to make a low here at the 320 at the 230 area. You're thinking that's going to be our new low after hitting down here twice. And you're thinking at that point, we're going to get like kind of a move like that, and it's going to start to push up. But instead, what do? We ended up pulling back down here once again to that support area, and then we got the breakout. That's what we wanted. That was the breakout we were looking for. Now, a lot of selling, little doji, kind of indecision, a little bit of green, but overall, again, another big red candle there to that low at the 3,222 area. So that we had that support there at the 222, and guess what? We had this big old red candle there, and that's what I'm trying to point out. We had that big old red candle, but guess what happened? The next candle, we had a huge engulfing bullish candle, right? You guys can see that. Look at this green candle there. Had that beautiful green candle on the 15-minute chart. Had a little bit of wick on the top and the bottom. But overall, the body of this candle basically engulfed that bearish candle. So at that point, I'm like, hey, this thing's looking pretty prime. Looking like it wants to go. Especially after having that downtrend and then getting that breakout. You can see that 15-minute candle there pushing above this candle. So obviously we kind of had that new first 15-minute candle to make a new high, I guess you could say. So at that At that point, I'm looking for a dip buy. Couldn't get a dip buy. It just started squeezing, and the market went to the moon. Now, if we go back to the 5-minute chart, you can see it a little bit better here. And again, guess what we got? I made a video just the other day talking about this. Look at this. Look how beautiful this resistance is here at the 245 area. Maybe, yeah, we'll say 245. My line's a little off there, but we'll just say like this. There's that resistance multiple times, 245 area. Guess what we got? We break through that resistance, and we pulled back right to that resistance area, turning that into support, and then we are off to the races. Textbook, right? Textbook, technical textbookness. But you really got to think about that emotional idea, right? Way that I'm looking at this is if I can get in here for this trend change, I'm going to be very, very, I'll be looking real good, right? I'll be looking really good if this does make a big move, because we've already established we've got support there multiple times at the 3,222 area. We got multiple support there. We got that big engulfing candle on the 15-minute chart. We got multiple things telling us that this thing wants to go, right? We got those 3 touches. We got the bullish candle, and then now we're pushing back up to that support. And you can see really just green, green, green squeezing. And we squeezed right through that resistance, and the market went nuts. Because at that point, everyone's now chasing. People are trying to chase. People are scared to buy the bottom, but they're chasing, 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 chasing. It was actually, like I said, really hard for me to get in on this trade because it just started squeezing, and there really wasn't a decent pullback. As you can see, these candles are just green, 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 all the way up to that resistance. So I didn't want to be buying right at that resistance. I got in there at the 38s, but I definitely didn't want to be buying up here at the 48s or the 45s. I wanted to get in at least, for that breakout, and then maybe be able to get out for a profit at that resistance area. But once I saw the overall price action, we just squeezed right through that resistance. I knew, I want to say I knew that I was going to go to the moon, but I was going to take my profit there, being up 15 handles. I like to try to take my profit when I got it. I wasn't expecting this type of move all the way to 280s. But again, that's that emotional idea, because we break through that resistance. We had the kind of pre-market highs there at the 67 area. This type of action here just really starts that emotional aspect of people chasing, right? People becoming FOMO, people having emotional aspect, because one thing as well is, let's say I'm a short, let's say I'm a bear. I'm really bearish on the market. I think the market's going to crash, crash, crash. I'm just saying, let's just say that. And I'm trying to get short, and I'm shorting up here again at that resistance, because I'm thinking I'm going to short here, and this is going to then go back down to that 322 area, right? I'm thinking that as a bear, because I want that to happen. I need to make money when the market goes down if I'm only short. The way I was looking at it was like, hey, this thing's looking pretty bullish. Hitting that 322 area 3 times, had that little higher low, kind of a fake out there. I'd just say that was like a fake out, almost like a trap, especially after this pushes back up and then sells off there. But in general, when the market is kind of just range bound in that channel there, it's going to cause short sellers to cover their positions. It's going to cause people to have FOMO. It's going to cause people to chase because they're thinking, hey, this is finally the bottom. The bottom's in. It's time to party. That emotional aspect is very real. It's not just about support and resistance, but you got to think the market's red on the day, right? The market's red on the day. Everyone's leaning towards a very bearish outlook at this point for the day. As a day trader, they're looking to take shorts. They're looking to short this thing because we keep kind of pushing up and then selling off, pushing up, selling off. So they're thinking to short. But any type of bullish action, if we get a nice big bullish move, those shorts are going to be underwater, and then they're going to be chasing. And I think it's exactly kind of what happened here. And I would have been the same exact person in the past. I would have been the guy who was shorting these little pops. I would have been the guy who was shorting here instead of getting long. And that's what's crazy about this. Is I 100%, before I kind of thought differently about the market and how it moves in waves, and to expect, support and resistance and kind of anticipate these moves a little bit better. In the past, I would have 100% shorted right there, because I would have thought, okay, I'm going to short, and I'm having my wrist there, that's what my plan. That would have been my plan. I would have shorted up into that resistance. But now I don't ever really do that anymore. I don't go and try to short thinking that a stock, just because the market's moving back up, do I think I'm going to short and then get that pullback? I'm looking to ride momentum where it is. If the momentum's telling me that there's probably a good chance this is going to want to go up, I'm going to ride that momentum. I'm not going to be like, hey, no, I want to short. I'm going to short here, right? I'm going to short there. Nah, not about it. Not about that life anymore. So I've learned that you can't have a bias. You got to ride the momentum, whatever's in front of you. If the market's moving back and the market wants to be stupid and wants to rally back up, I'm going to ride that momentum. We're momentum day traders, people. We're trading the momentum, right? We're looking to ride the waves. We don't even need to be the first person. Like, that's what's great about this, is obviously if I would have been sitting here trying to buy the bottom, trying to buy bottom and all that kind of stuff, yeah, sure. I could have got another 10, 20 handles maybe on that move, but it's very difficult to always buy the bottom. So you got to be able to be, fine with sometimes just getting in for a small part of the move. Like I said, I did not think that we're going to get a squeeze all the way back up to the 280s. We got it there in the day. We just went, that's a 50 handle move. 50 handles on the MES, $5 a handle. That's $250 in profit on only one contract. So imagine the potential here, my friends. Imagine the potential here. So that's my little recap of the day, what I was looking at, what I was thinking, my mental and emotional and thought process. The market's down, it's red on the day, but it's not always a short. Just like Nikola, just because something's red, just because something's crashing, does not make it a short or make it really a long at that point. I want something that's really I want a reason, right? I want something that just jumps out and tells me like, hey, it's time to buy. Hey, it's time to short. So there it is, making a little bit of money today, trading futures with the Optimus Flow platform. If you guys want to learn more about futures, you haven't checked it out, there's a link down in my description. You can actually download the platform, try it out for free, and check it out. Just check it out. Why not, right? Check it out. Futures. Learn more about it. There's a bunch of videos on my channel as well if you do want to learn about futures, or YouTube in general. You can learn about it. But don't be afraid. I think a lot of people are afraid of trading futures because they think that it's like this crazy complicated thing, but it's really not. It's much more simpler. It's much simpler than people let on. All right?